I got to know Larry really well, but he was a great worker, a great teammate. He told me, like when he didn't think I was taking a good shot. I tell people all the time when they start complaining, oh, the coach doesn't believe in me, or the star player on our team doesn't believe in me. I go, bro, when I played with Bird, he'd pass it, he'd get double teamed, he'd throw me the ball, but if I miss three, I'm not coming back to me.
Enjoy yourself, dog. Y'all gave us the run for our money. Yeah. All right, take care. Now you can work on that golf game of yours.
There are NBA greats, then there are icons, and above every one of them stands Larry Bird. He never relied on wild hops or circus-level handles. He didn't need explosive dunks or flashy tricks. Larry had something way more dangerous. Cold basketball genius, sharp instincts, and nerves that didn't crack under pressure. He played like a street-smart chess master, always 2 steps ahead before defenders even blinked. He didn't chase theatrics. His confidence came from knowing he was about to beat you, then doing it with quiet, ruthless accuracy. Game winners, ice cold, no-look passes. Smooth, mid-play trash talk. Larry threw it out there and still dropped buckets. His whole style wasn't built on hype. It was built on results. And those results earned him something bigger than respect.
That boy, he can play, man. I saw this dude eat Jack Givens up. He was player of the year that year.
Kentucky, right?
Yeah, from Kentucky. And Larry Bird was just slicing and dicing him. And I said, oh. Yeah. And so that was my first time seeing him. And then to be out on the court with him in college for that national championship game. And then, of course, what happened in the NBA. But I would say that we got a chance to change the league.
They earned him reverence from legends like Magic, Jordan, Kobe, and Payton. Ask any of them about Larry Bird, and watch how fast the jokes disappear and the praise hits like a punchline. These aren't empty compliments. They're facts from Hall of Famers who faced a player tougher, smarter, and flat out better than they ever expected. This isn't a highlight reel. It's a reality check, a living legacy told through the voices of the very dudes who tried to stop him and walked away shaking their heads. Before the banners, before the final showdowns, before he became the face of basketball, Magic Johnson saw Larry Bird during a college game, and the moment froze him in place. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't showtime, but it was dangerous, methodical, calculated, ruthless. Bird dismantled the reigning college player of the year like it was a warm-up drill, and Magic, already one of the most gifted players in the country, knew instantly this wasn't just another hoop star. This was someone special.
Let me tell you something. People always talk about great basketball players, and they don't never mention him to be up in that round when they made the Magics, the Jordans, the Kobes, and stuff like that. But Larry Bird was cold. I don't think nobody ever could get out with him. You ask Magic. That's why Magic had a run, and he was mad when he had to retire in '92 because of what he was going to be missing with Larry Bird.
They really did change everything. When Magic and Bird stepped into the NBA, the league was struggling hard. Empty arenas, weak TV ratings, even the finals were stuck on tape delay. But the second Bird touched down in Boston and Magic pulled up in LA, the whole vibe of basketball flipped overnight. Their rivalry became the heartbeat of the sport. 2 legends, 2 powerhouse franchises, 2 totally different styles crashing into each other on the biggest stage again and again. But it wasn't just beef. It was evolution. Magic pushed Bird, Bird pushed Magic, and together they dragged the NBA into a brand new era with pure force.
Larry was the ultimate leader, and we all know that. But it meant a lot because you were fighting against the Lakers, and Larry and Magic had come out, really become saviors of the NBA. It was unmarketable, and they began to turn that around. And Larry was driven. He was absolutely driven, and he wanted to make sure that every player on the team was involved in the process. Larry could have scored 40 points a game. I'm convinced of that. If he wanted to average 40 points, Larry Bird is one guy could have done it.
So when Magic looks back at Bird, there's no jokes, no ego, no fake tough talk. just straight respect. Magic knows that without Larry pushing him, there's no Magic the way the world knows him today. And without both of them, the NBA wouldn't be the global monster it is right now. And when Gary Payton speaks on you, you pay attention. He's one of the toughest competitors to ever step on a court. A Hall of Famer, a defensive nightmare, a dude who built his whole identity on shutting people down and never backing off. So when Payton brings up Larry Bird out of nowhere and says Larry's name doesn't get mentioned enough in the GOAT talks, that's not casual respect. That's a warning to anyone who forgot how cold Bird truly was. Gary Payton's frustration is real, and he's not trying to soft talk it.
I'm going to give you Larry Bird in his prime or LeBron in his prime.
Larry Bird.
That's a quick answer.
Do you remember? I know I have nightmares. Do you? Do you have nightmares?
Larry Bird didn't rely on crazy dunks or wild athletic abilities. And maybe that's why people who never watched him leave him off their top 5 list. But ask the players who actually faced him, and they'll tell you the real truth. Bird was cold with it. He'd score on you, talk trash the whole time, and even tell you exactly where the next shot was coming from, then splash it anyway. To Gary Payton, that's what real greatness looks like. Not just stats, not just rings, but the fear and respect Bird pulled from the legends who actually battled him. And Payton's right. When people talk about Magic, Jordan, and Kobe, Larry's name belongs in that same breath. Some players dominate the scoreboard, others dominate big moments. But Larry Bird, he dominated whole eras. ML Carr saw it up close. He watched Larry go from a gritty forward out of Indiana State to a full-blown franchise savior. And for Carr, Larry's greatness wasn't just about numbers. It was the culture he put in place, the example he set, and the standard he forced everyone around him to match.
I got to know Larry really well, but he was a great worker, a great teammate. He told me, like when he didn't think I was taking a good shot. I tell people all the time, when they start complaining, oh, the coach doesn't believe in me, or the star player on our team doesn't believe in me, I go, bro, when I played with Bird, he'd pass it, he'd get double teamed, he'd throw me the ball, but if I miss 3, I'm not coming back to me.
Larry didn't need to yell to lead. He just outworked everybody with a purpose so strong it pushed teammates to keep up or get left behind. Carr doesn't sugarcoat a thing. Larry Bird could have been a selfish scorer anytime he wanted. He had the skill, the footwork, the vision, and the full green light to take over games whenever he felt like it. But that wasn't who he was. Bird chose the team. He chose winning. And even with that mindset, he was still dropping 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists while playing through a messed up back. He never flinched, never backed off. This wasn't a player asking for respect. He earned it every single night. Bird didn't just lead the Celtics, he defined them. He helped bring the whole NBA back to life. John Sally treated defense like it was his mission. Long, smart, physical. Never scared of any matchup. He went toe-to-toe with Jordan, battled Shaq, took hits from Barkley, and survived the brutal wars of the 80s and 90s Eastern Conference.
And so we had a mutual respect. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Larry. And I wouldn't take back the years I competed against him, man. What an unbelievable player, but he backed up whatever he said. If he tell you gonna hit a shot to a certain place, or if he gonna take you down to the post, turn around, hit a fadeaway J, he gonna do just that, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
So when he says a player gave him nightmares, it actually means something. And when someone asked him to pick prime Larry Bird or prime LeBron James, you'd expect a long debate, maybe some back and forth. But not Sally. He didn't flinch, didn't blink. He picked Larry Bird on the spot. It sounds funny, but he was dead serious. That's what Larry did to defenders. He lived rent-free in their minds. He didn't win with speed or flash. He won with precision. Every jab step was sharp. Every pump fake meant something. Every pass and every shot came from a mind operating ahead of everybody else. And just when you thought you had him figured out, he'd literally tell you what he was about to do and then hit the same shot right in your face anyway. Sally wasn't watching from the crowd either. He was right there in the fight, trying to stop Bird at full speed. The fact that Bird still sits in his head years later tells you everything. That's more than talent. That's psychological warfare. Larry Bird wasn't just a player you guarded. He was a challenge you had to survive. And most players couldn't.
I guarded his ass so tough that after the game, he came. He sent a little letter over there to me. He was like, I've had nobody play defense that hard on me.
I love it.
He go, I appreciate you playing. Hey, then he was like, I got a little All-Star game. Why don't you come work out with me? Come to All-Star game, man.
That's dope.
And let me see that summer. And I was like, that meant everything to me.
When you played with Larry Bird, you didn't just join a team, you stepped into a system of expectations. Danny Ainge figured it out fast. He was a sharpshooter and one of Boston's most competitive dudes. But on a roster with Larry Bird, talent alone wasn't enough. You had to show up, stay locked in, and deliver every night, because Larry wasn't accepting anything less. Larry never sugarcoated things. He didn't need to yell or embarrass teammates. His honesty hit harder than any speech. With Larry, nothing was personal. It was all about performance. If you could hit shots, he'd find you every time. If you couldn't, he moved on. Not out of spite, but because he was there to win, not babysit. Ainge's reflection says everything. Bird's leadership wasn't built on hype or long speeches. It was built on standards. He set the bar so high that everyone around him had to rise to match it. And if you didn't, the ball simply stopped coming your way.
Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, they were coming to prominence around the time when you were little. Were they your idols?
Magic more so than Larry. I couldn't stand the Celtics because I was a big Laker fan. So, every time they play in the finals and Bird would come out on top, I'd be an upset individual. But I admired them for what they were able to accomplish, what they were able to do, and how much love they brought to the game.
That's a different level of pressure. Having a star who scores is one thing. Having a star who sets the tone for the entire team, who holds everyone accountable no matter the moment, is a whole different type of power. That's why guys like Ainge didn't just respect Bird. They were scared to let him down. Some rivalries are built on flash, but this one was built on grit and mental warfare. Dominique Wilkins was electric. A gifted scorer with flawless footwork, crazy hops, and a mid-range game that could torch anyone for 40 on any night. But even Dominique, the human highlight film, couldn't shake Larry Bird, because Larry didn't just attack your body. He attacked your mind just as hard as your body. Wilkins faced Bird in some of the nastiest battles of the 80s, and the wild part was everybody knew what was coming. Larry would call his shot, tell you exactly how he was about to hit it, then knock it down with cold, clinical precision. No wasted motion at all. And the worst part, you still couldn't stop it. Dominique Wilkins never ran from a challenge, but Larry Bird was a whole different problem. Their 1988 Eastern Conference duel is still one of the greatest playoff battles ever. A fourth-quarter war where both traded buckets with the season on the line, and Bird stayed ice-cold through all of it. No flexing, no showboating, just ruthless execution. That was Larry's edge. He could make even a scorer like Dominique, a guy who could drop 50 without blinking, feel ordinary. And the craziest part, he'd tell you exactly what he was about to do and still do it right in your face. Shawn Kemp lived for battles. At 6 feet 10 inches with a 40-inch vertical, he was a walking highlight. Explosive in transition, fearless at the rim, dunking on anyone in his path, from guards to all-stars to Hall of Famers. He thrived on contact and never backed off from pressure. But even Kemp, a physical force built for chaos, found himself humbled by one man, Larry Bird.
From that point forward, I wanted to prove to you, Magic, Larry, George, everybody, that I deserve to be on this level as much as anybody else. And hopefully, over the period of my career, I've done that, without a doubt. Even in the Detroit years, we've done that.
And here's the twist. It didn't come from trash talk or some dramatic in-game moment. It happened after the final buzzer. Quiet, simple, and unforgettable. Think about that for a second. You spend 48 minutes giving Larry Bird everything you got, fighting, hustling, locking in on defense like your life depends on it. And after all that effort, he still gets his buckets. Then when the game's finally over and you're catching your breath, he hands you a handwritten note thanking you. That's not gamesmanship. That's straight psychological warfare. Shawn Kemp was known for physical power, but Bird, his strength lived in the mind. That's the thing with Larry. He could break you on the court and still make you feel honored just to be part of the fight. He turned competitors into admirers. He took your best shot and then handed you a pen and paper so you could take notes on how he beat you. To this day, Kemp calls that moment one of the most meaningful of his entire career. Not because Bird praised him, but because he earned Bird's respect. And in the NBA, that meant more than any highlight dunk. It meant you faced the coldest killer in the league and survived long enough to tell the story. Kobe Bryant didn't idolize flash. He didn't chase noise or hype. He idolized greatness, real mastery.
Enjoy yourself, dog. Y'all gave us the run for our money. Yeah. All right, take care. Now you can work on that golf game of yours.
Kobe studied the game like it was art. Frame by frame, move by move, detail after detail. Growing up in Italy, long before YouTube clips or League Pass, Kobe didn't have access to every game, but he knew exactly who the real ones were. Magic Johnson was his hero. The Lakers were in his blood. And Larry Bird, he was the blueprint. The more Kobe watched, the clearer it became. If you truly loved basketball, you couldn't hate Larry Bird. That's why Kobe's words hit so hard. They're not from a teammate, not from a rival. They're from a student of the game, a future assassin, a basketball mind sharp enough to recognize greatness even when it didn't match his favorites. Larry Bird wasn't Kobe's idol, but he was one of the first players to shape the way Kobe saw the game. Kobe studied the greats because when you're built for greatness yourself, you pay attention to the masters. Larry Bird wasn't fast, he wasn't explosive, he didn't jump out the gym, but he kept winning again and again, and that's exactly what Kobe respected. Not the flash, but the substance. Coming from the Black Mamba, that means everything, because Kobe only respected one type of greatness, the kind you can't ignore even if you try.
To have MichaelJordan, Kobe Bryant, as an idol. The guy flies around and do whatever he wants. It's too easy. My guy doesn't run, doesn't jump, and play the best of everybody else. He's here. This is my idol, the best player ever, in my opinion.
MichaelJordan didn't chase shadows. He chased legends. Early in his career, before the rings, before the signature shoes, before Be Like Mike took over the world, there were three names at the top of the mountain: Magic Johnson, George Gervin, and Larry Bird. Jordan didn't idolize them. He didn't want to be them. He wanted to beat them and earn their respect. That famous quote from Jordan wasn't ego. It was validation. MJ didn't just want to win games. He wanted the respect of the legends who came before him. And sitting at the very top of that list was Larry Bird. Bird gave young Jordan real problems. He beat him over and over early in MJ's career, and Jordan never forgot those battles. He respected Bird not just for the skills, but for the intelligence, the calm under pressure, and that tough mindset that never broke. So by 1998, when Jordan finally stood at the top, champion, face of the league, the man who became what Bird once was, he didn't just walk past quietly. He made it personal and playful. That was Jordan's way of showing respect, raw, ruthless, and real. It wasn't an insult. It was MJ talking to a man he once chased and finally passed, delivered with the kind of grin only true competitors understand. Jordan may have become the GOAT, but even he knew one thing: you don't reach that mountaintop without going through Larry Bird first. Oscar Schmidt never played a single NBA minute, but don't get it twisted. That doesn't weaken his opinion one bit. If you think it does, you haven't done your homework. Oscar is a certified basketball legend, one of the greatest scorers the world has ever seen, stacking up over 49,000 career points. A true icon in international hoops.
Oh shit, that's the man shit. He's like your Magic, your Kareem, you know, that once in a lifetime player, franchise changing player. That's the category that Larry was in. And not to mention, I like the way he led us as a team. He wasn't in your face, you know, that talking trash to you. He led by example. No matter how poorly you was playing, Coop.
So when he's asked who his basketball idol is, he doesn't blink. He doesn't say MJ, LeBron, or Kobe. He says Larry Bird. Why? Because for Oscar, greatness wasn't about verticals or dunk contests. It was about results, intelligence, and getting the job done every single night. Oscar wasn't calling Larry a feel-good story or a nostalgia pick. He was calling him the best, plain and simple. When you truly understand basketball, you know it's not about flash, it's about will, vision, and execution. And to Oscar, nobody had more of that than Larry Bird. Robert Parrish was a Hall of Famer, a warrior, a man whose nickname, the Chief, came from his toughness and calm under pressure. He played next to Bird during some of the Celtics' most dominant years. He saw the fire up close. He felt the weight Larry carried every night, not just as a scorer, but as the heartbeat of the entire team. And even from inside that locker room, Parrish looked at Larry Bird with nothing but reverence. Parrish knew Larry Bird wasn't about theatrics. He wasn't the loudest. He wasn't the flashiest. But when it was time to deliver, he always showed up. Larry didn't lead with long speeches. He led by putting in the work. He showed up early, outworked everybody in the gym, and expected you to rise right with him. And if you couldn't, you were simply in the way. Robert Parrish played with a lot of great talent in his career, but he knew the difference between a star and a tone setter. Bird wasn't just a franchise player, he was the franchise. Even in his own era, Larry was a throwback. He wasn't fast, he wasn't explosive. He didn't have the bounce of the 80s Flyers or the power of the 90s Giants, but none of that mattered. Bird had the two things every all-time great needs: unshakable confidence and unstoppable skill. He didn't just play the game, he solved it with his mind, his mouth, and that deadly jumper. And as legends like Magic, Jordan, Kobe, Gary Payton, Dominique Wilkins, and many others have said, Larry didn't just earn their respect, he earned their fear. He'd tell you what he was about to do, then go do it anyway. He didn't beat you with athletic ability. He beat you with IQ, grit, and perfect execution. He didn't outrun you. He outlasted you. He didn't just play basketball. He defined it. Magic and Bird didn't just compete. They saved the league. Jordan didn't just chase championships. He chased Bird's approval. And Kobe, he didn't want to like Larry, but he couldn't stop studying him. Guys like Sally, Kemp, Ainge, and Parrish didn't just watch it happen. They lived it. They felt every bit of it, and they still talk about it with that same look of disbelief. Larry Bird was that rare type of player who could break you down physically, mentally, and emotionally, and somehow leave you thankful you even shared the court with him. People can talk about flash, verticals, wingspans, sneaker deals, all that noise. But when legends sit down and talk about real legends, Larry Bird's name always shows up. Because true greatness doesn't fade. It doesn't follow trends. It echoes forever.